Rick Stroll.
How you doing, buddy?
What's up, baby?
Not much,
You from Chicago? You from Chicago,
I'm
right?
from Chicago, but I'm trying to disavow it.
Okay.
Well, since the Cubs won, there's no reason to. I was just always in the can because the Cubs were losers.
Okay, so
now we're cool.
Oh, now you're cool.
Now
so
we're cool,
yeah, and you are a rebel, so you can't. If everybody else is on the bandwagon, you can't be there.
That's it.
That's right.
It. No, I hate the Cubs. That's it. Won the series. I can't be a fan.
That's right. That's right. You gotta find some. You gotta find another lovable loser, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, I found that in myself. Actually.
Oh, hey. What I thought we'd do is a little show today about the concept of what you put out, you get back.
Okay.
Okay.
Wow. Good.
So we can go down the road of the great movie The Secret, in which they talked about, what you put out in the world or what you think you attract, or just, what is your definition of that concept?
Well, I would start first with a big caution, and that is that what people do with that idea is they tend to forget that it only works if you don't have any expectation of getting strokes for giving something good to somebody else. I think part of the problem is that we have this expectation that we're going to get a powerful return on whatever we put out there. And I think it only works really when you're totally altruistic about what you want to do. You want to help somebody, or you want to help create a good experience or happiness in someone else. That has to be totally without any expectation of getting anything back.
I totally agree. I've not heard that. I've not heard anyone describe it that way, but I know you live your life that way.
Well, I try. I fail quite a bit at it. It's very hard to do, but I'm aware that that's the way it should work.
Right. And for me, I try to live my life that way too.
Great.
So, this is a great topic, I think. So give me an example, two examples. One in which you put something out there and it came back and it wasn't to your liking, perhaps because what you put out there wasn't good-willed. And then give me an example of something you put out there and, you got back exactly what, you wanted.
Well, I'm going to change that a little bit.
Okay.
I'll give you an example of the second type that you were asking about, and that is putting it out there without any expectation of getting anything back, and then feeling really great about it.
Yeah, that's perfect.
I'm really proud of the way I was a dad. I went through a lot of ups and downs with my career, a lot of ups and downs with finances, a lot of ups and downs with my marriage, but I was always solid and steady for my son, and that really makes me feel good inside. And I have gotten a lot back from him, but it's irrelevant. I just feel good about having done the best I could do as a dad. Another example of me trying really hard and then not getting anything back because you have a corrupt motive for doing it, it would probably be relationship with a woman, where I've tried to either persuade her with flowers or gifts or acting or doing things or creating an aura that wasn't me in order to win her, and realizing, of course, that you never can win anybody that way, and then crashing and burning, which I deserved. But there's an example too of cause and effect. You're fake, you get a fake result. Garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah. Some examples for me would probably be the same thing, with the crash and burn, trying to impress a woman and totally not myself, and again, crash and burn, it wasn't received that way, the inauthenticity ran true, and in one case, in another case, I was just not their type. I was working overtime to be their type.
Yeah.
But I wasn't. You're not everybody's cup of tea.
We're both round pegs, a lot of square holes out there.
That's right. So that would be an example. And then an example of me putting out something good with no expectation of anything in return, but being fully rewarded for it, or feeling rewarded, feeling really, really good about it, would be ToBeRe, man. Since day one, everything I've done in ToBeRe has been without expectation of anyone doing anything back. And And so when people along the way didn't give back to me like I gave to the friendship, at least in my mind and what others observed, dude, I wasn't disappointed or mad, man. You know, I was like, cool. You know, I did this because this is what I want to do. And then, of
But
course,
that took a while, though. That you weren't there in that way, in that frame of mind years ago.
yeah, you know, I didn't have the kind of give back to me, like taking credit for somebody's achievement, you know, or hitting a goal. I didn't have it that way. The way that I wanted people to give back in the early days was just do what you say you're going to do.
Yeah.
You say you're going to show up for a workout, show up for a workout. You say you're going to eat healthy and hit a goal, eat healthy and hit a goal. It was more that. It wasn't like you got to like, you know, praise me and nominate me for, you know, the trainer of the year or the life coach of the year. It was never that kind of thing. It was more like, man, just be a good partner. Like I wanted something in it that way. And now, while I still would like people to be a good partner, if they don't, or be a great friend, if they don't, okay, they don't. You know, I'm just grateful that I did everything I could to be a really, really great friend the best way I could. I may not have been perfect, but I did. But so the payoff has been like feeling like I gave my best. And but you know what's unexpected is that I had some friends show up for me big. I mean,
Yeah,
big,
yeah,
man.
yeah, that's
So
true. That's true.
that's been good. You know, I feel like I put out good in the world, and I'm trying to, and not always perfect, and it's great to get it back.
I think there's something about karma too, but it doesn't work. It's not really like cause and effect. You do something good and then something great's going to come back to you. I think it's more about a way of approaching life.
Yes.
Where you're generally interested in somebody else's welfare and you're not selfish and you're trying to do something for the good, the greatest good for the greatest many,
Right.
without putting yourself first.
Right.
If you can live that kind of a life, things are going to come back to you, inevitably going to come back to you that are going to be great. But again, the caution is you don't want to be altruistic because you're going to get something back. You want to be altruistic because it's the right thing to do, and your life will live, you'll live your life in a way where you'll get benefits that are unseen and great.
Right, absolutely. I mean, ToBeRe is the embodiment of giving of yourself. And what I always say is whatever you give to the community, man, the community's gonna give you so much more back, like what you can even fathom or contemplate. Your contribution is pale in comparison what the whole community is gonna get back to you. And there have been so many people along the way that have taught spin classes, been great partners at workouts, helped with marketing campaigns and newsletters and things like that. And their contributions have been fantastic to the group. So for me, as a person giving to others, what they've all given back to me, individually and collectively, pales in comparison to what I've given. And it's because of the spirit of what you said. You know, I have no expectation of anything in return.
Well, it's its own reward, right?
That's its own
Its own
reward.
When you're
Yeah.
with people who are like-minded, who are doing things for the good of the community, not for themselves, and you're part of the community, it's its own reward. It's like this self-fulfilling thing. It keeps building on itself and building on itself. And you're with like-minded folks who are all concerned about the welfare of everyone else. That makes it a pretty mellow, pretty fantastic experience.
Yeah, you know, I go back to your example that you gave as being a parent to your son, Chris. And what I think about that is that, you know, the parents who are the most fulfilled as parents when they, you know, give their most to their children, I mean, to where it's unconditional loving, that they are cool with the choices that they make, you know, whether it's
the kids make.
that the kids make,
Yeah.
whether it's they go in a profession that's different than what the parents had in their mind that they were going to be, go into, or whether it's a partner, a different life partner that they choose to be with, or they have a different sexual orientation than what the parents thought that they should have, or whatever the case is, and they just love this kid unconditionally, you know? And if the kid's going through some challenges, whether it's some kind of addiction or whatever else, they just continue to hold that space. Now, that's not to mean they're not sad, or their heart doesn't ache for them, the kid being happy, because they see them not being happy, but they just know as a parent that they've given everything they can, and so they find so much joy and satisfaction in the kid being on their own path, trying to discover what makes them happy.
That's the key, the own path. And I think that ties into the notion about not judging others and being in a position where you can still feel like, hey, that wouldn't work for me. You can still have that kind of feeling because it's authentic for you. It doesn't maybe apply to what you would like in life, but it's not your life, you don't get to vote on it. And it's a little tricky with the parent because you're responsible for the kid.
Right.
You want to make sure you equip the kid with the right choices so he'll be a success when you're gone and can live comfortably and successly on his own 2
Right.
feet. But pretty much, in my view, after that, it's all the kid.
That's right. So when they get to become adults, then, you know.
They're used to it, first of all.
Yeah.
And they've had that experience of the independence that allows them to make choices and to make the mistakes that sometimes they need to make in order to grow. But I also think, you know, kind of mystically, I also believe that kids are their own entities. It's like life's reinforcement of itself. It's the idea that the life cycle is completed, and so therefore the kids really aren't yours. They come through you, but they're their own. They're not really belonging to you.
Our friend Vicky used to say, you know, the kids come through you. They don't come for you.
For you, yeah.
Yeah,
I agree.
You know, and a lot of parents have we all, you know, we attach ourselves or our expectations to what others do. You know.
We do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And so yeah, I'm a believer, like you said, of what you put out there will come back to you, as long as you don't have this what's in it for me kind of attitude or spirit with it.
When you volunteer, for example, at Mayo's, you're volunteering not because you're expecting they're going to hire you as a ER doc, right? I mean, what's the point of volunteering?
You know, I don't even tell people that I volunteer unless they ask me, like, hey, listen, can we meet today? Or something like that, and I was like, no, I can't meet today. Or what are you doing today? And I was like, no, you know, I have a commitment, you know, to volunteer at the hospital. You know, it's only if people ask me, because I don't even want to stroke for volunteering. You know, I don't, like, my ego doesn't need that. And, you know, I'm in a position right now I have a volunteer there, and then there's another position that I used to volunteer with that they now have made it mandatory that there must be some compensation to it. I don't even want money for that. I send the money to my mom. I want all this to be me just contributing. So what do I get out of it, man? I want to be part of I want my presence here on this planet and this universe I don't want to be a taker. I want to be a contributor and a giver, man. Yeah. I want zero footprint, or I want a footprint that's in the plus column, no matter how small it is.
Yeah, that's so cool. I love that idea. That's a great idea. The net for you being here is that somebody's life is improved and you haven't taken
in some way.
And
I don't need any credit for it, nothing like that, man. Because there's a ton of people that contribute to me they're nameless, and I'm so grateful.
All of us have had that. You know, one thing that might help our viewers too, with the idea of getting used to contributing to other people's lives in a way where there's no expectation of getting anything back, is to do it in a way where there's no way that the person that you're helping would ever find out that you helped him.
Absolutely.
You know, and I don't know how that works out for people, but sometimes it's like, you know, paying for the guy behind you when you're going through the McDonald's driveway. Not that you eat McDonald's, but if you're doing something where you buy somebody else a dinner and they never can see who it is that bought them, that's what we're kind of talking about. That kind of no strings attached giving.
Absolutely, and there's so many ways to do it. I mean, one of the ways to do it is, you know, like here at where our studio's located, I'll see trash sometimes that has kind of been blown by the wind, or somebody's dropped something in front of someone else's door, you know, and I may not even know the other business owner, and go pick it up and throw it away, you know, somewhere to contribute to the space that this person has. It's like you said, like a good test for me it's because I used to have this thing that if I do something nice for you, depending what it is, you owe me something. And it's trivial, but it just show up for me. It's just be a pet peeve that if I open the door for you and let you walk through, like I'm ahead of you, open the door and we're going into the same establishment, if you didn't say thank you to me, dude, I was bent. I was like, man, like, really? You gonna walk through and not even say thank you or excuse me or whatever else?
Were you the one of the guys that would go, "You're welcome"?
Inside I did, and I was screaming it. I had a megaphone. But along with a couple of other choice words. But now I do it all the time, and I don't even notice whether they say thank you or not sometimes.
That's a very good place
you know,
to be.
And so those little tests of contributing to someone else that are helpful. But there's so many ways to do it. You know, if it's something that you can't do financially, like pay for somebody's groceries or, you know, fill up, you know, their car with gas at the station, then go mow their lawn. You see the lawn, you know, if someone who is unable to mow their own lawn, you go and do it for them, you know, or pick up the tab for the landscaper that month, you know, or that they have coming to the house. You know, if it's someone that you think would benefit from that kind of generosity, there's just so many ways to give and contribute, but the key is with no expectation of anything in return. So in that way, what you because it's going to what you get is going to be internal goodness that's going to continue to be cultivated within you.
It's another one of those things that we're always harping on with fitness and nutrition, which is just habitual living in that way.
Right.
So if you're habitually giving without any expectation of return, you'll find, I think, your life will turn around because you tend to attract the kind of person that you are. And again, it's not a one-to-one attraction. It's not like if I think of $1 million, I'm going to get $1 million. No, it's I'm living a life of altruism where I'm helping other people without regard for my own interests. The universe likely is going to create circumstances that will return what you're doing, because that's who you are. That's what you're living in. That's the matrix in which you're operating.
Can I add something to that?
Yeah, please.
You know, and if you practice that enough times, then it doesn't matter who the other person is or what the situation is. So for example, if you practice going to work out and eat healthy all the time, it becomes irrelevant what restaurant you happen to walk into and what other temptations there may be there. It becomes irrelevant that you know, you didn't get a whole lot of sleep last night, because
Exactly.
your non-negotiable is that I go to work out and exercise and I practice self-care all the time.
Doesn't matter.
So it doesn't matter whether you're on vacation. Our friend Tim is on vacation right now with his kids. Dude is at the gym this morning. You know, so none of that matters. It becomes that. And the same thing comes being kind and pleasant. It doesn't matter that the person that you say good morning to all the time, the way they say it is, they grunt at you and like, not until I have my coffee. Like, none of that matters to you. You keep saying good morning, you know, because it's not about how they react, how they respond, what you get from it. It becomes about you just continue to practice which is love, compassion, and being a positive person, a positive contributor. It becomes that part of it.
And keep in mind that it's really important to get off the judging cycle. And so when you're saying or thinking to yourself, well, this person isn't very grateful, or he's very rude, not even thanking me, keep in mind a couple of things. Mindfulness, which again is going to contribute to your own inner peace and your own sense of well-being, involves being present in the moment without judging whether that person has been rude. And maybe one way to think about it is, okay, well, that's where that person is on their path. You know,
Right.
They're full of hate, or they're full of rudeness, or they're full of victimhood, or whatever it is. That's where they are on their path. And another thought that might help you have compassion for the other person who's not treating you as well as you're treating them is, everybody in life is fighting a battle that you have no idea how difficult it might be.
Absolutely, for sure, absolutely. I mean, how many times have you acted rudely to somebody and they taken it personal, but it wasn't about them at all? You know, it wasn't directed to them personally.
that's
You're
right.
rude to someone at a store, but it's because you just got, you know, some news that kind of rocked you. You know, but it wasn't about them. You know, it doesn't excuse your behavior, but that's where the mindfulness come in. Is that we've all done that before, all of us, and as a result of doing it, we can have compassion toward other people.
Yes, exactly. And this goes back to our early show on projection. Most all the things that we accuse other people of doing that hurt us are things that we've done tenfold, 20-fold times to others.
Absolutely.
And it's just part of recognizing compassion for yourself and self-love, that it's okay, just get past it, learn from it, and get past it, right?
That's right. So the big idea is what you put out, it will come back to you internally. And it's not about the external world or people outside of you giving it back to you. It's about what's cultivated within you.
And it's self-replenishing. The more you do, the more you get. The more you do, the more you get. And it's self-gratification that you're looking at. It's that the feeling that you're doing something important without anybody having any knowledge of it and contributing to, like, your ego for stroking you for doing it. It's not about that. It's about just doing the right thing and being happy about that.
Absolutely. Rick, thank you.
Hey, thank you, Keith.
All right,
Adios,
love you.
man. I love you.
Thank you.